sad story to tell. This is George Lee's. I'll show you my images in a few minutes, just in case I get taken down, and this video is made posthumously, as if they would let it out then. Yeah, these are the owners of huge tracts of the world. Yeah, and all of the democracies across the world are obligated to give up their cash to them even now. She is a massive mobster, most of it undeclared and hidden behind the regal procedures and the ancient historic practices in our country. Yet the Royal Commission and all of the things that we have are secret societies in Kensington Palace and the Bible fraud perpetrated by KP Kensington Palace Calpurnius Piso. Yeah, it is the same set families. So let's play some music as I show you some of the lead-in images. Yeah, tragically this pair are involved as well. Okay, this pair I'm very, very fond of, and there is Hannah Mary Rothschild, whose married name is Brookfield, and Brookfield is owned by the Queen, but Brookfield is an owner of vast tracts of America, Brazil, Latin America, and she only was married to him for 2 years. Her brother is a really nice guy. He is the one that comes to Kelso to try and salve his conscience. Yeah, that's Nathaniel, and he's got loads of interlocking middle names. He lives in Switzerland with Evelyn de Rothschild. Yeah, let me play some of the music. Advisors, yeah, to the Queen. Brother of the Queen by Winston Churchill. Co-director with the Queen on those companies. The bank of everywhere that is royal is theirs. I've not found the route into the British banks yet, but all the Canadian banks are run by Her Royal Highness. Yeah, and that is the joke about the Victoria State. Yeah, that is the illegitimacy of them for 150 plus years. Yeah, and all the jokes up there on those tabs about the historic precedents that lead to them coming out of Germany, then changing their names, I will show you. Yeah, the Scotia Bank, yeah, which is also the Bank of Nova Scotia, where we had the massive munitions and navy hubs for profit in all of the wars that they declare against all of the ordinary people when they run the for-profit Lend-Lease scams, Fort Knox scams, and all the munitions production all across the world. Can you hear the music still? Yeah, this is me. I'm making this video in extreme danger. Okay? Yeah. Georgie the Walrus at the moment. There is the Bank of Canada, is the Queen's Royal Bank of Canada. You get it. Trained Mark Carney there, took him to London, trained him to steal from the whole of Britain, which this lot have been doing since the Rothschilds captured the Bank of England with the Waterloo Triumph and the Lennox treason from Scotland and Richmond. Yeah, and this is the involvement of the local university that I am an alumni of, and that is right next door to the Gogarburn place that was the asylum and the hub for the Royal Bank of Scotland, and that is Dalmahary Golf Course, which is just along the road. Yeah, just in case I get disappeared, it's a lovely place, and my favourite pub owner in the whole world now plays golf there, and he's a really nice guy. Yeah, really, really nice man, and I got a great reception there. If only Donald would change the world's ways, and I believe that he has still got the capacity to do that. He's a genial man, he likes to be laughed at, he does not like to be hated. Okay, right, there is the Heriot-Watt logo. Yeah, I'm going to show you how the corrupted mining sector now crashes everybody's investment prospects, everybody's savings schemes, and no one is able to make any money off any of their savings except the Rothschild Bank, who run the students' loan scam all over Scotland. They let them off relatively lightly because Salmond and Nicola were reliant on that to be popular. Yeah, and that is Heriot-Watt where I went, and the pharmacy school that I attended is still a wreck in the middle of the grass market, exactly like it was the last day I went there. Okay, they now have appointed their chancellor on the basis of virtual gold mining, and a gift to the University of Edinburgh from that man was enough to spark attention that if we get him, we'll get riches from stealing and cheating the people of the world, which Bill Clinton, in those mining scams at the companies I'm going to profile, has been doing for decades. Yeah. Okay, that's McGill University. That is where Ewan Cameron invented electroconvulsive therapy and terror methods for interrogation of political prisoners. Yeah, that's the Cameron lineage that you're so aware of now, that have the conscience. There's their crest. Yeah, this is the Canadian I'm a lumberjack, I'm doing okay joke. Yeah, and the woman Baker, who goes ballistic all the time, yeah, because she profiles their evil, and then she goes ballistic when I explain that all of it is run by Rothschild. Yeah, and her name Baker is an integral part of that. Okay, she's no longer a Facebook friend. And there is Ewan Cameron and the launch of psychotherapy for the Chipping Norton set and for the banging up of every competent political analyst that's prepared to take this on. Yeah, it's the launch of Guantanamo. It's everything that the world needs to be freed on this prison planet. And Hannah Mary Rothschild and young Nathan are the very people to do that. I believe I've met the pair of them, unless they're just body doubles, but they clearly can see the route that they need to take now, and presumably their dad Jacob can too. Okay, there's Bill Clinton with the mining fraudster Frank Guistra. Okay, and there he is with Hillary, the presidential candidate, and there he is with the Queen's half-brother. Sorry, there he is, the Queen's half-brother. Yeah, all of it a massive, massive set of interlocking jokes about the ownership of the entire world and the running of World War I and World War II. With that theme, let me take you up here for a little bit. Okay, there is the Windsors and King George V. This is the start of the treason. This is the marriage that led to the people that could not have competent children and the kids dying of epilepsy, yet in their teens. And that's the marriage to Mary of Teck and the estates in Sandringham in Norfolk, where all of the paedophilia jokes are shared, and everybody gets really scared by that. But this is the father of Edward VIII, the abdicated king, and eventually Edward VI, the stammering king. Yeah, yeah, and that is Bertie, the stammering king that was the leading mason in our world. Yeah, even when he made the Ibrox speech to the leading masons in Glasgow, and all of them have got the black fascist fez for Islam on it, that sparked World War I, and then again in Austria-Hungary it sparked World War II with the killing of the Archduke. Sorry, they're the wrong way round there. Okay, so that is Mary of Teck. All of them have their own private priests, and all of them know that religion is entirely false, since the Pisos faked the Bible. Okay, and there's the stories on Prince Harry's girlfriends. Yeah, even on the US political vent, there is little sis. And we'll scan down into Prince Harry's ex-girlfriend, Florence Brudenell Bruce. You get the treasonous people that come through the whole of world history, yeah, in that bloodline that is ever so simple to interpret. Thank you to David Icke for revealing that to me, and it is everyone now. I've got them pinned. So this is a Brudenell Bruce, and it's the jokes about a food or a chocolate company. Yeah, and it's not anything to do with the current woman. He has a different woman every fortnight. There she is, lovely. She gets married to someone else because presumably she's sick of all of the false media attention. Model Florence, known as Flea. Yeah, that's the louse joke. Yeah, and that is the de-lousing joke for Archie Louse Piso, right back into the Roman court. Yeah, this one's dated Jensen Button and the Formula 1 racers. Okay, and here is the history bit that takes you back to the antiquarian stories about Egypt and the bloodline that they're in. The www.sal.org.uk. there is, sadly, they're crowing about their cull of all of the world's pagans under Thor's and Churchill's oak. Yeah, that is the pagan nations, yet that have been totally replaced by the powerful churches that are the Church of Rome and the Church of England, yeah, which is what Queen Elizabeth II represents. She's the leader on its earth. Yeah, that's God's earth. Right then, and here is the antiquarian societies that you'll see when we go onto the tabs, and that is the Duke of Gloucester. Yeah, Dr. Foster went to Gloucester in a massive shower of rain. Remember that Gloucester is where Princess Anne lives, in her massive estate, where they have the 3-day events that my wife attends as a dutiful person. There's the windmill blades for all of the war crimes jokes, and the tulips from Amsterdam financial frauds for FDR, the Pilgrim Father, and all of them are in the same bloodline. This one I've never seen before until this morning. Okay, let's go back to the pictures and we'll see if we can pick up where we left off. So they're running, yeah, and crashing everybody's savings and investments. False mining companies that produce glossy brochures. There is no product other than a coupon and a voucher, and they get sold all over the tax havens that Prince Wills and Kate were going to live in on the Channel Islands with the Butlins fraudsters. Okay, that's the Harrises and neighbours of Rothschild, and that's Barrick Gold. Look up Gordon Bowden, Peter Eyre, and Pandora's box of financial services and virtual products frauds all around the world that leads to David Cameron's Cairn people and Bill Gammell's, the friend of George W. Bush, who attended Bill Gammell's wedding in Glasgow. But all of that has been taken down out of the Scottish press. They absolutely scar the lands everywhere we go. That's like the gold mines they had in New Zealand, the beautiful countries that still are entirely owned by the Queen. This one's name is, I forget, it's all over my website and it's all over the things I'm going to show you on the tabs. There is no gold, there just is a coupon and a scam ahead. Yeah, and that's run by Clinton, it's run by Guistra, who got the money for Clinton, from Clinton, to run all of those scams, and for them to launch that terror campaign and the interrogation by electroconvulsive therapy, yeah, in the McGill universities that are owned by Guistra and are worked in by Miss Baker on Facebook, I think, if she's not changed the story. And all of them are still concerned with the liberty of Palestine issues, which is the biggest Rothschild Churchill, and Balfour fraud of all. Okay, I forgot to put the Balfours in the pictures. Right then. So, just a few more. That's the Colombian plane crash, because the Queen now runs a virtual gold mining company with Colombia in its name, and I just read that, and this appeared within 2 hours on the media that evening. Yeah, they're ever so efficient now. I don't know how they read the future, but they can clearly read it 3 to 4 days ahead, or even more now, and that appears to be changing all of the time as I work through this massive case profiling the world's mafias. Yeah, and everything's a tragedy. And in the last one that they had of these, all of them were in the wilderness when they crashed, and they had to become cannibals before they could come home and tell the story. Do you remember that? Yeah, that's the Brazil that was the place that was owned by the massive mining magnates that I'm profiling here. Philip Hammond has been forced to visit Heriot-Watt University this week because they can read the future, and he was here yesterday trying to broker things through Nicola Corrupted Sturgeon's office. Yeah, and that's him in the Heriot-Watt laboratories. Yeah, who the Hearts Budgie woman is an inventor for. Yeah, Budge woman, the owner of Hearts, since Romanov went off with his 20 million debt pool intact, handled by the Scottish auditor firms. Yeah, okay, so we might go back to those images if you lose touch of the story, but I'm now going to show you that the Queen owns every fucking thing on our world, virtually. But that is a story from her advisors, the Rothschilds, and Evelyn de Rothschild is now declared by this lot on Little Sis to be worth £20 billion and to be a rich list member at last. The first appearance, yeah, under pressure from me since world history began, and they have never paid any income taxes, all of this trust status that they still have. Yeah, so there is Queen Elizabeth II on this geopolitical information site for America, and there is the Bank of Canada's flag, because she owns the fucking Bank of Canada. She owns the state of Alberta, for a laugh. That is Albert, who never had sex with Queen Victoria because he was gay and he had a chain around his penis. Yeah, and all of the children were sired by 2 of the Rothschild family in those massive palaces that the Hanoverian Germans built them. And that George the Fifth guy is the one who changed the name from Saxe-Coburg to Windsor, yeah, after World War I was over. Yeah, and ever so guilty then, but none of it now. Yeah, and we're not allowed to smack our babies, but they're allowed to be bastards right through world history, and they're allowed to send every one of the nations across the world to war again and again and again. Groundless wars apart from their profit motive. No wonder she's peeping round the corner. And the tabs on Princess Margaret are actually a Danish Princess Margaret. Yeah. And all of it is everything, including Harry's girlfriends, are taking the attention away with what they actually own in financial services. I'll just quickly go through this one. Yeah, because that's just the people you know. There is Queen Margaret II, but that is not her sister. That is the Danish women. Yeah, like the Rothschild women and the married people. Yeah, they want you to believe that everything is just an innocent story, and all of it is just a coincidence. So there is the declaration that Sir Evelyn de Rothschild is the advisor to Queen Elizabeth II. Yeah, when you open it, I'll show you that tab in a few minutes, but let's get down through it and I'll show you how they declare that because she is the governor, or she is the owner of the states in Canada, she owns everything in that place, especially the royal banks. Okay, richest.com, that is Evelyn de Rothschild being now her advisor. Yeah, he's registered in Britain on all those business registers that I've shown you, the interlocked to Nicola's Lord Advocate, to the Eton schoolboy boss that was Kinloch Anderson, and all of it is a massive cabal. And there are the obfuscation of Harry's girlfriend's news, those stories, and that woman was married in 2013. Yeah, all of it just comes in so that they can keep taking your attention of what I'm going to show you in about 2 minutes. Okay, and there is winstonchurchill.org, Her Majesty the Queen. That is the father of Her Majesty the Queen and Bill Clinton by artificial insemination. Yeah, and all of it is a huge piss take. Yeah, they're the world owners and they're the biggest killers, which is why I played that music at the beginning. John Robert Hall, Queen Margaret II, and John Robert Hall, all of them are members of that Duke of Gloucester's Society of Antiquaries of London, so that they can pretend that they have the archaeological evidence that no one's allowed to know that the pharaohs of Arsenal are actually the arsenals of Egypt, and they're in the Windsor bloodline with the Bush bloodline. Yeah, and that's why the Hall name was used when Rupert Murdoch got married again. Okay, and there, everything I have to back up very carefully, and I'll just take you down. And there you got a huge list of it. Sir Evelyn de Rothschild, the advisor to hers net worth is, they claim, only £20 billion. Not anywhere near the richest man in the world, but the Queen owns the companies of Bill Gates, who is the richest man on the world. Yeah, and it's ever so exciting to find it. Yeah, there's the Bruces that marry in the treason. And I don't even know what some of them are yet. It's just a whole series of covers, yeah, and leaking little bits of information to obfuscate what is in the actual truth about the name changes and all the soap operas that are Coronation Street involving the Queen Vic pub and stuff. Yeah, right through world history, the whole world is trivialised, and come dancing now, Strictly Come Dancing, Ed Balls is now the world's biggest celebrity. Okay, and that is roughly the same thing, but I think I was able to archive actually the website here rather than pictures of it, because I don't want you to think that I've written all of this stuff myself. Prince Philip, Princess Margaret, Countess of Snowdon. So that is not the Danish one this time. That is the one that liked to have sex with 2 black men at the same time. Yeah, and then they coerced the family on that information of, I think it was £2 million out of the Lloyds banking group. Princess of Denmark, Queen Alexandria, Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, daughter. Yeah, that is true. She is actually the daughter of Prince Philip. She is the last child of Prince Philip and the Queen, because all the others were sired by Lord Porchester, Lord Plunkett, and maybe Lord Carnarvon, and the Porchesters and Plunketts are now in the international or European football squads. Look out carefully for every name I mention in the next news episode you watch. Okay, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, who is a plant from the downstairs sector. Okay, this is not what I want you to see. Let's get, so all of them are profiled on here, and then when you get to what they actually own, that's when the shit hits the fan. John Robert Hall, priest to the Queen. Let me just show you what he looks like. Yeah, this is the fact that they understand that religion is totally false. All the sectarian divisions, their hatred of King wee James that launched the Bible, yeah, they do not hate him. That's the launch of their perpetual sectarian division and the launch of Protestantism from the Bible that was written in England and was written as the Church of Scotland Bible too. All of those are the Episcopalian churches that are more powerful than either the Church of Scotland or the Church of England. Okay? Personal priest to the Queen of England in the fake story about Jesus, and hall means hell. And I think that Rupert Murdoch will probably understand that. Here's Sir Evelyn de Rothschild. Okay, net worth, richest businessman. His nationality is United Kingdom. Date of birth August 29, 1931. Married to Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, that luscious blonde. Full name Sir Evelyn Robert Adrian Arian de Rothschild, and born 1931. His source of wealth is inheritance and finance scams in virtual products. Yeah, and even little Natty, my friend in Kelso, is involved in the mining scandals and on the boards. There's so many hyphens I did not recognise him until I looked him up and saw that the Google image was his. Okay, so this one is no longer ineligible to be on the Forbes rich list, but he's not on it. Yeah. Yeah, he's not on it. 20 billion. He earned his wealth as a member of the well-known Rothschild family and through his career in international finance, which includes serving as the financial advisor for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Sir Evelyn Robert Adrian de Rothschild served as the chairman, yeah, and I've shown you his directorates in the video I made on the Nicholas Sturgeon's Lord Advocate, the Tweed, all the Freemasonic hubs. Let's get on, otherwise we're not going to get finished. Okay, he runs all the racecourse empires like Epsom with the word Piso in it. Peso rather. Okay, so he is advisor to the Queen. She's not on the rich list either. Her Majesty the Queen, in right of the province of Alberta. Let's take it down a little bit, or I'll slide that thingy in. Right then, sorry about that. Her Majesty the Queen, in right of the province of Alberta, as represented by Alberta Investment Management Corp, as if Alberta was unique. Yeah, I don't know how it got on the little cis website in glorious isolation without the other states being under the same rules and the same mafia thrall. Yeah, Her Majesty the Queen, in the right of province of Alberta AS, represented by Alberta Investment Management Corp, is based out of Edmonton. The last reported 13F filing for the third quarter of 2016, so that is every quarter now you're able to avoid taxes, pretend you've got little earnings, and every time you want to get the money away, you can do the opposite. Yeah, you can either have money at the bank or you cannot have money at the bank, which is why all of them run at least 2 Ponzi schemes, yeah, like the Hearts and Hibs buses. And there is what they've got for Q3 in 2016: 10 trillion 185 million and $35,000, presumably Canadian. No way of knowing. Yeah, and the Rothschilds are in charge of manipulating the price fixing and the gold values right through, even although they have no gold. Okay, Her Majesty the Queen, in right of the province of Alberta, as represented by Alberta Investment Management Corp's holding is Bank of Nova Scotia. That is the Bank of New Scotland, yeah, on the east coast of Canada. Yeah, right next to the Iceland financial scams and everything that happens in Greenland. And now we've had the warmest year that we've ever had in world history. Most of those snowbound places are now becoming globally warmed. Yeah, it's nothing to do with us, it's entirely to do with the gods. Yeah, and they've got shares. Every one of these companies is a massive joke, like the belly of the whale joke. Yeah, they've got 5 million shares in this one. Yeah, and you should see every company that she's the owner of has much larger share flotations than that. Okay, so here we start. Holdings 1 to 10 of 20. See under Banks tab, Bank of Nova Scotia, TD Bank, Sun Life Financial, Canadian Railway Company, Trans Canada Corporation, Microsoft Corporation, that's Bill Gates. Wait till we get further down and it declares who the owners are. Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, Canadian Natural Resources Limited, Facebook, online directory and social network, Enbridge. Here we've got it in Rothschild yellow. The owners are Kinross Gold Corporation, institutional investor. Someone at the door. Kinross Gold that got the boss at Heriot-Watt his job. He invented that allegedly, but there's no reference to him. Right then, so let's take a look at Kinross Gold. She runs Tradewinds, Cyprus, Amax Minerals, dozens and dozens of companies. That list that I showed you above was curtailed. Holdings, Her Majesty the Queen in the right of the province of Alberta, as represented by Alberta Investment Management Corporation, institutional investor, 9.3 worthless, money for nothing shares out of companies that have no products. Yeah, like the people who are on the court of the Bank of England, issuing the currency that is the fiat currency, the paper currency. It's now plastic currency, and last night Sally Magnuson was debating about whether or not it was health and safety free of risk. Yeah, the new plastic notes. Tradewinds Global Investors, okay, and this is the added list with all of the listings. Tradewinds Global, Cyprus, Amax Minerals, and here's the leadership and staff of Kinross Gold. Scott Caldwell, he's not the boss at Heriot-Watt. Albrecht Schneider, he's not the boss, he's the Chilean representative. Remember all the fascism in Latin America, yeah, and all this stuff I've been reading this morning about the Queen being a Bilderberger, but she does not go there because it's affiliated with her Nazi cousins that are Bernhard of Germany, then of Holland. Karl Hansen, geologist, executive past. Okay, and this is still not the long list that shows you that the ownership. So Robert M. Buchan is now the Vice Chancellor or the Chancellor at Heriot-Watt. He donated 6 million, and I believe that went to Edinburgh University, but he got the job because he is claiming that he is on this board and he is the inventor of the company and the discoverer of the find, which is why Hammond went to Heriot-Watt yesterday, and they can read the future, and there is no doubt about that. Yeah, and all the gold rushes around the world. Okay, so here's another listing. Yeah, Tesoro Petroleum Companies Limited. The big four have got all of the world's oil wealth all stitched up, but you can make a fortune by pretending that you've got new global investors, companies that are worth their salt. Yeah, they're not. They are not. Yeah, and it's Bill Clinton and the likes that has helped to launch all of that. So this is a parent organisation. You remember the Rothschild child joke? I cannot still find the one where they tell you that the Queen is the owner of all of it. This is because this is Kinross Gold's got such a big one. Let's get through that. So there they are: Kinross Gold, Barrick Gold, Cameco Corporation, Suncor Energy Limited, Tesoro, New Mining Corporation. Every one of them, 34 million, 19 million shares, 14% stake, 15 million shares, 22.9 million shares, 0.9, 1.8 million shares, 8 million shares, 11.9 million shares. Boards and executives on all of them getting paid for ripping everybody's savings and investments to pieces. And the Canadian people get ever so uppity about uranium and nuclear weapons, but none of them would raise a finger when I reported the nuclear weapons scam of the Holyrood government and the English government involving the Eccleston Square registrations. Yeah, not a finger lifted, but they tried to have me sectioned for doing that. Okay, so here's another tab, and it's still this group of people that are claiming to be the inventors of that company that the Queen has the rights to in Alberta. And there is Allied Nevada Gold Corp, Kinross Gold again, Echo Bay Mines, Compagnia. Yeah, do you get that one? That is the Naples, Italy one. And they are South Africa. Right then, and there's the Schneider character. It's just the same set of listings for those directors, and the Heriot-Watt rector or vice chancellor is not on those listings, but I still cannot find the ones that show you the full list. So this is the Columbia listing, because the Queen's owned companies have a Columbia company. I'll show you. This is the false news. I think it was Monday night. It's now Friday night. There's the team leaving happily. There's the wrecked vehicle in the false news. Yeah, and that's the same day that I discovered that Carl Hansen runs this list of companies. Metalum, TVX Gold Inc., Atacama Pacific Gold Corporation, Kinross Gold, Columbia Crest Gold Corporation. Yeah, within 4 to 6 hours that was on the front page of the Scottish News, the English News, the BBC News, and all of it led to a minute's silence at the game between Heart of Midlothian and Rangers, which Hearts won 2-0, and all of the players have famous names in them. Yeah, and the people that I used to talk to in the curling team scored both the goals. I forgot what her name is, the Glaswegian curling champion. Yeah, all of them Facebook friends of mine, and everything of that nature has to be covered up. Okay, 76 killed, that's 13 for the Masons, 5 survivors from the plane carrying Chapecoense footballers, and this is the Colombian officials, and it was headed for Brazil, where the massive scams are run by these families. Yeah, and the ownership of everything. The one who is the Ian Fleming lookalike has died this week. He's also quite close to the Schindler actor. Yeah, and that is Castrol and Castro and the Cuban central bank issues. Yeah, all played by actors. so that they can keep the world at fear and demonize communism everywhere, as all of these frauds take place against their people. Yeah, and all of their central banks have been given to the elite and murderous people that I played that music for at the beginning. Oh, sorry, we've not gone down to show you that the Column company is actually theirs. Oh, I did show you, yeah. Okay, so here's Philip Hammond covering up all I've done to show you that Heriot-Watt is right next to the golf course for the Batman in World War II. So Desmond Morton, the Earls of Morton, are friends of Prince Charles, and Desmond was the Batman to Butcher Haig in World War I. Yeah, second in command, as it were. And he was the Batman to Winston Churchill in World War II, who is the Queen's dad. Yeah, and the warlord at Gallipoli, who was disgraced and thrown from the War Office. Okay, this is the Heriot-Watt buildings, the laboratories that I used to work in, and that the women from Hearts Football Club used to work in. Okay, and you've now got donation bucking. So this is the news headline that that man there donated money to Edinburgh University, and then he ends up being the Chancellor at Heriot-Watt. Yeah, Dr. Robert Buchan, with the principal Professor Steve Chapman, has been appointed Chancellor of Heriot-Watt University following a meeting of the University Court today. I've applied to him for jobs as a leader of the best pharmacy school in New Zealand. They would not let me in. You would not let me in to talk. Yeah, right. And everything there by the Gogarburn Valley. Okay, gold mining magnate donates 1.3 million to Gordon Brown's Edinburgh University the year that fucking Gordon Brown, who he's sucking up to there, leaves as Prime Minister, and says to the whole world there is no money left in the Treasury because we've done with it what you'll see reported on the Little Sis website. I've got a horrible feeling that that massive list must be up at the top. So here's the news that the new Chancellor is now sworn in from 2012 onwards. Yeah, and that's my wife's separation date. There's the little guy that I might have been interviewed but I was not classy enough. There's the new one who runs the virtual mining scams, but it's not even mentioned on the boards for them. So, and here's the Barrick Gold precedents. I'm going to have another little look at Little Sis, because it does not show you that Donald Trump's interlocks are. It's further down, I think. Okay. And there's all the false. No, it's not. Oh God. And when I first saw it the other day, and ExxonMobil and everything is listed there, oh God. Oh, maybe it's on the banks tab. Let's have a look there. Oh yeah. Yeah, you get my photos, then you know that you're getting close to the hub. Yeah, the whole of the internet now is covered by my photos of them. Okay, this is more like it. Yeah, this is more like it. So in the mining sector there is a page like this too. There it is. Yeah. Okay, so Her Majesty the Queen, in right as Alberta by the Alberta Investments, Banks of Canada and Nova Scotia under HRH's thrall. Yes, so remember she took Mark Carney from the Royal Bank of Canada, and here is her holdings. Yeah, ExxonMobil Oil and Gas Exploration, Precision Drilling Corporation, JP Morgan Chase. Every one of those has over 5 million shares. Money for Nothing, Cheating the Customer, Manulife Financial Corporation, Thomson Reuters, that is the Thomsons who are on the Forbes rich list, the Thomson twins in the cartoon that was Tintin. Yeah, Thomson Reuters, the world's, and Reuters are the news agency for Rothschild all over Europe, and they were the touring and taxi yellow cab company. Pepsi Cola, yeah, the cocaine plants in Vietnam and the Golden Triangle, and all of the jokes, yeah, owned by the Queen right through that Vietnam campaign. Barrick Gold, this is the Guistra Clinton frauds, reported by Peter Eyre in that Pandora's Box article with Gordon Bowden's input. And this is the world's most evasive family, because this is the Morgans and the Brookfield lords that were married to Annie Mary Rothschild. And I was talking about them in the pub last night. No one has ever heard of them, and I asked the people to look on their computers if they could find it. They could not. She was married to him for 2 years. He's a massive fraudster. He's only got 2.5 million shares in that asset management company though, which is much smaller than everything that I've shown you already in the banking sector frauds. In the gold mining sector. Bank of Montreal, yeah, parent company of the Bank of Montreal, owned by the Queen. Right, Enbridge Inc., Sun Life, yeah, everything that we've been looking at on those listings for the people that launched that tiny little gold mining company. TD Bank, an amalgamated bank of the Bank of Toronto, and the women that told me about the pharmacy school the other day lived for long periods of their lives in Canada. Yeah, it's ever so difficult to find an innocent helper. Bank of Nova Scotia, 5.3 shares. That is actually the Bank of Canada. Yeah, and when you click on the Royal Bank of Canada, it declares that. Canadian National Railway Company, so that's Rothschild and the Scottish entrepreneurs that are Carnegie, yeah, and is the solicitor, yeah, for my will, yeah, which is the man that was in my hometown and is on all the boards, and as soon as I revealed that he's on all the boards, he had to resign. I forget what his name is. Irish name, Shaughnessy. Yeah, they are a huge part of the Canadian railway magnates, like the Carnegies, Trans-Canada Corporation, every one of them issuing shares and giving themselves money for nothing, as the savers and investors who give up their real cash are cast into poverty or insolvency. That's the way it gets done now. Yeah, all owned by the same owner. Sun Life Financial, 5.1 million shares. TD, the Bank of Toronto, and the Dominion Bank, not had a plane crash there yet. Bank of Nova Scotia, institutional investors, Canada National Railway Company, Trans-Canada Corporation, Facebook, online directory and investor, Canadian Natural Resources Limited, 6.1 million shares, Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, 5th largest Canadian bank by deposits, all on the Queen's listing, yeah, with Barrick Gold and all the frauds. Microsoft Corporation, and Bill Gates has to pay, yeah, to take over the celebrity role, yeah, and the Queen and the Rothschilds shed all of that, and they pretend that they are not, yeah, and you cannot count shares as money. But it is, it's money for nothing. And now on Company Check they never reveal the details of the shareholding scams. Her Majesty the Queen, in right of the province of Alberta, as represented by Alberta Investment. Remember that this is just one province in that massive, it's a country but it's the size of a continent, yeah, and it's all on the North American registers, which we're looking at now. Okay, and here it is, the stunning bit that she is the owner, like Donald, of ExxonMobil, and they're not on the boards by design, like the Rothschilds, yeah, and they declare for a laugh that this is a child company when the Rothschilds are directly involved, yeah. ExxonMobil, This is what I was trying to find further up. Precision Drilling, JP Morgan, Manulife, Thomson Reuters, and there the Thomson twins statistics. David Thomson, his real-time worth is 27 billion. Yeah, on the Forbes rich list with Bill Gates, when the Queen is really using him as a muppet. And this one writes the world's news, which is the Thomson twins in Tintin before the news every night on the BBC. And here's Thomson on the Forbes rich list, kind of long-haired character. Yeah, looks stressed. Believe me, he's got lots of money to pay for a consultant in psychiatry and to buy some ECT if he thinks he needs it. Right then, okay, PepsiCo, Barrick Gold, the frauds. Here is the hits by Peter Eyre and Peter Eyre Repatch blogspot.co.uk with Gordon Bowden. The directors of Brex Minerals, yeah, the Brexit thing, Brex Minerals Limited, their subsidiary companies affiliated directly to Barrick Gold Corp and Mohammed Adnan Khashoggi, who raised the funds for 9/11, Frank Guistra, who raised the funds for Bill Clinton's support to take over the Canadian universities and to turn them into terror instruments, Gordon Keep, Andrei Agapov, Rakesh Saxena and Macquarie Capital Partners Canada Limited. All of it is a fraud. The above references between four strategic criminal affiliations, Barrick Gold Corp, George Bush, the founder Adnan Khashoggi, who went to the La Rosey School with Rothschild, and all of the elite people, including Bin Laden, who is, I learned this morning, a friend of George W. Bush, and have been friends since the Odessa issues were being run by the Vatican out of Spain, and the training of the IRA happened there too. To steal billions is very, very easy, but first you have to control the assets, and this is the corporates thing that all of the Scottish people are getting riled up about, and reselling everything that was made in the public sector by the people of the country who have now been dispossessed of it. Let me quickly show you that Clinton's in this up to his eyes. Nothing to do with mining. It's not mining, talking mining. Buy money all the way to Barrick Gold Corp. So do you see how the new Chancellor at Heriot-Watt University got his job, and why our Chancellor yesterday went to see him? Yeah, after 1 week after the budget declares that no one can have anything, and Scotland are going to be taxed now so that their treasury can be filled by their poor people. Okay, so and there is Clinton and the Guistra mafias, Hillary, and there is Khashoggi and all of the people, Mohammed Al-Fayed, Adnan Khashoggi, and that is the team that raised the funding to bring down the Twin Towers. There's Clinton sitting with the Carlyle Group and the global mafias that are in charge of the CIA as soon as World War II ends. That's George W. Bush, and before him his father George Herbert Poppy Bush, the puppy being the war dead joke for all of them. Yeah, and there's Henry Kissinger, who interlocks with Rothschild, and there's the Adnan Khashoggi characters, all on my web pages. And here's Brookfield Asset Management, which you cannot put a picture up of because Brookfield is Hannah Mary Rothschild's married name. She no longer uses it, for shame. He is massive, yeah, but everything that is owned on this page by the Queen, yeah, without declaration anywhere else, yeah, I don't know how they think they can get away with it, but she is a massive fraudster, and it's just a massive pretense that the Rothschilds, who are their advisors on how to get to that richest position, yeah, are immune from tax, they're immune from everything, and they are able to fix the price of the false gold and the coupons, and everything is totally chaotic and for profit by only the world's most powerful people, which is why I've got faith in Donald more than any of them, because he's a simpleton. And I know if that brother of hers is real, and he comes and talks in my hometown since I started to hit on them, that they have a conscience and that they are conscientious people, and that's all it takes. Really easy to fix it. Right then, Bank of Montreal, Royal Bank of Canada. Do you get it? The royal affiliation. Yeah, even all those years after the Indians were culled, yeah, and they're now living with their cancers on the tar sands, which is the remnants of the old oil finds. TD Bank, Bank of Toronto, and the Dominion Bank. You've seen it all before, but not in a context that it's owned by the Queen. Yeah, pasted from Her Majesty the Queen in the right of the province of Alberta as represented by Alberta Investment Management Corporation Holdings. Yeah, and the Q3 statistics on how much they're not going to pay tax on. Trillions of pounds, tens of trillions, yeah, reported for that third quarter of this year. Right then, so I've shown you the Heriot-Watt scandals, I've shown you the Chancellor's response to that. What we got here, this is the Nova Scotia Bank actually declaring that it is the Bank of Canada. Okay, Royal Bank of Canada is in its holdings. Yeah, do you get it? Hannah Mary Brookfield's asset management. No, she's divorced. She cannot talk like that. There are no pictures of that man. He's got a massive list of directorates, and he runs the Brazilian rainforest massacres. Yeah, because all the rainforests get cut down, and he replaces them with McDonald's, who are on the Queen's listing too. Equator Principals Association. Capital Income Builder, Her Majesty the Queen in right of the province. That's owners. Capital Income Builder. That could be the capital group for Theresa May linkage. Not looked that far in. Can you hear the phone ringing? Her Majesty the Queen in right of province. Yeah, they are the owners. Yeah, and that's Hannah Mary's in-laws who've been disappeared like me, and dare not pick up the phone in case they get banged up again. Keep going down on Bank of Nova Scotia, Equator Principals Association, Capital Income Builder, owners, yeah, leadership and staff. Yeah. Seth Merky, and remember, this is only one province of that massive country that is in our Commonwealth joke. David Peters, Senior Principal, Richard E. Waugh, President and CEO at the Scotiabank, David Dodge, Economist. Now, the Dukes of Northumberland and all of the people that are the Riddles were the governors of Nova Scotia. Yeah, and that's the link to Britain. The Governor Generals in Nova Scotia are the landed people that were Perseus in the Roman court, and are the Riddles with that very fragile, die-young bloodline of the Scottish borders. Right then, and here's the Royal Bank of Canada declaration that we are not really the Royal Bank of Canada, we're just a subsidiary of HRH's business empire. And this is the biggest joker of the lot of them, because this is him making his statements on quantitative easing, £250 billion into the UK economy, just to cover up the fact that the Brexit joke is part of the story I've already told you, and is part of the massive joke that everything that is world ownership is behind the Pizzo stable door. You see it there? That is the joke about the stable door having a top end so the horse's head can poke over, and the bottom end so it cannot run amok with your country's future like this guy is doing. It's not his country, he's a Canadian citizen, and the Queen owns the whole of him and the whole of Canada. Okay, Royal Bank of Canada, master brand name for the Royal Bank of Canada, and it's a financial group, and there is the owners of it: Statins Pension Fund, Atland, McLean Budden, RBC, Canadian Equity Funds. Institutional investors with somewhere between 4.9 million and 16.5 million shareholdings. Yeah, the Queen's an owner too. Royal Bank of Canada Dividend Fund. Fraser, the Procurator Fiscal's family, Jarislowski Fraser Limited. Investors Dividend Fund, CIBC Global Asset Management. Do you see the magnitude now? This is one province, and these are the war criminal companies that now trade in the city of Edinburgh. And I meet the people that run them in Kelso's supermarket, but I'm not allowed to go there anymore because I'm too innocent to be able to tread the pavements of this country. Bank of Nova Scotia, institutional investor, 48.7 million shares. Totally blowing in the wind and totally making chaotic the prospects that anybody can make money out of any investment in the virtual products. There are no products. It's a wish and a prayer, and with no return. RBC, Royal Bank of Canada, Global Asset Management, US Inc., 60.1 million shares. And here's Carney again. Yeah, and this time it's shared with the Pizzo family interest group. Pizzo stable door with Brookfield, née Hannah Rothschild, not even a mugshot or an image of her husband, ex-husband. And yeah, all the Brexit panic and everything that's happening to our currencies, our savings, our pensions, you now have it explained right next door to the Bank of England, where they do not issue money to the government anymore. They lend them at massive rates of interest, and everything goes into Mark Carney and his boss, the Queen's pockets. And in the papers this week, they're having an argument about who pays the 350 million to repair the castle that they got from, and you can play that video if you want, it's 250 billion of releasing, slushing new money to his friends, not to the people, not to the local government, not to the national government, which is why Hammond is in that massive £1 trillion debt pool and is having to tax the people more severely. Yeah, and every day in their lives is now spent covering my activity from my safe house. Don't know how the pressmen live with themselves. Right then. And here's John Molson Jr., Her Majesty the Queen in right of, yeah. Owner, 30 shares in 1822. Yeah, this is the founder of the company, Equator Principals Association. Let's just see what is at the top of the list. The Bank of Montreal and Harris. And the McKenna is a director here, and the McKenna cover-ups. Yeah, so the Queen owns the Bank of Montreal. Yeah. And BMO Harris Bank is a parent organisation, and it's a national association. Energy Transfer Partners LP, Sunoco Logistic Partners, Pallium Investment Management, Energy Transfer Equity. Owners were John Molson Jr., 30 shares, Her Majesty the Queen in the right of province of Alberta, one of the states, as represented by Alberta Corporation, institutional investor, 1.8 million shares, institutional Queen. And there's McKenna, the person that appears in everybody's false news, and it comes up when you look for me on the internet for 2 years at least, because a man called McKenna was able to catch a big fish in the junction pool in my hometown, and my best man landed it and got his photo in the paper. And when you look for George Lees, that's the only news you could find for 2 years, but now they're all over the front pages of Google Images. All these frauds. Yeah. Borrower 275 million, right there. And let's show you McKenna. And this is the business partner, I think, of Brookfield. Okay. Forbes, Frank J. McKenna profile. Yeah, so it's a rich list member. Brookfield and McKenna run this company. Brookfield does not have an image anywhere in this world now. And I'd love to see virginal Hannah Mary in a white dress like Queen Victoria. Yeah, no longer trading under the Brookfield name, Miss Hannah Mary. We are a global alternative asset manager with more than 100 years of experience owning and operating real assets. That's the silver joke. Yeah, the silver mines are equally fraudulent. Yeah, yeah. 250 billion under their thrall. 55,000 operating employees. No pictures at all of the boss on the global internet. Brookfield Lord, JP Morgan relatives. That's the only things I can find about them. Yeah, and there she is in all her glory and her innocence. Yeah, they're not allowed really to participate, the women, which is why she runs the book club at A, which also means hell. Right then, and so I think that's just about the story told. And here's Bilderberg attendees, Frank J. McKenna, Brookfield Asset Management Board. Yeah, so all of them are at the fascist meetings every year in the Alpine region, and the person elected, this man, business person, public official Frank McKenna, his birthplace is in Canada, in New Brunswick, which was the birthplace for that little bastard who was in charge of the munitions industry through the whole of World War II, was a friend of Hitler, met him several times before the war, yeah, and he runs the aircraft production, yeah, and his place of origin is Churchill Falls, yeah, and Churchill runs the naval production units, yeah, and his son was in the Air Force, and usually that picture is there, and there is the Starling King talking to him, all in the Masons, all in the false news, and his replacement is now Rupert Murdoch, the most powerful people in the world. Okay, Frank McKenna, do you get it? Every one of the investigative journalists sends me the videos on Skype, they send me the videos on Facebook, and it's just a man droning away so he can be boring and cover for Hannah Mary Rothschild's ex-husband, who's bringing down the world's forests, yeah, the rain forests, and replacing them with the cows. That is the joke that McDonald's is part of that, and all of it is the same joke as McDonald's and the Walt Disney people being the richest Zionist institutions and funding everything that happens across the profiteering world. Yeah, and without trees you cannot fix carbon, so they are the people that are behind the global warming scam, if there is any. I believe the gods are totally in charge of everything that happens in the weather, and it's been beautiful here in the last 3 days, but the gales and the earthquakes are occurring all around it. Okay, Bilderberg participants 2011. Yeah. And that's all that John Patterson wants to talk about loads of times. Yeah, and it was the name of my secretary when I was at Imperial College London, or the boss's secretary, Dr. Jones's secretary, and that is Dr. Jones, who took me to Antoine's for dinner. That's the place where all of the influential world leaders, popes, presidents go. Yeah, and I was hopelessly overwhelmed, like I was the day that I met Hannah Mary Rothschild. I will not be if that opportunity occurs again in the future. Okay, and they're all over it. Yeah, not one image of the man. alleged anywhere. He might be dead, but do you think that there would be an obituary for him? I think that's about all we can do now, unless I missed a bit in the middle. Barrick Gold, let's see if we did that adequately. So this is all the work. Oh yeah, so this is where I found young Natty. So this is the thing that Gordon Bowden and Peter Eyre have denounced as being a virtual gold company. Yeah, it's Clinton's in charge of it, Guistra's in charge of it, that university that he runs is just a cover. And there's the Baird names that they're getting jumpy about in Scotland. That's why the Bairds were made Lord Lieutenants of the Borders. Yeah, and the Bairds interlocked with Donald Trump's companies through Andy Irvine, the rugby player that I so admired and that I met just a few weeks ago. Okay, that's the Bairds of Scotland, and covering up this massive link to the Canadian Minister of Transport and a member of the International Advisory Board. Remember, the Trudeaus are in the Piso-Windsor bloodline with the Bushes. Yeah, and let me just take it to the top again. Oh yeah, this is huge, this bit. This is the Mafia operation. Canadian Prime Minister's mobsters interlock with Clinton, Guistra and the universities they run in Canada that invented electroconvulsive therapy for interrogation at Guantanamo. Barrick Gold Corp, Her Majesty the Queen. Source links, okay? Organisations, Peter Monk, yeah? That's my website now. All of the presidents are Masons, all of them are criminals. That's why Bill Clinton is hanging his head down as part of the Carlyle Group, and that looks like Donald at the end. Yeah, and there are the Rothschilds with Henry Kissinger, George Osborne and all the usual suspects, and the Murdochs at B-Sky-B. Yeah, and there is Peter Monk donates $35 million to the University of Toronto. You see how it works to be a corrupted chancellor? Yeah, like Putnam was mine at Sunderland. Newt Gingrich, this is on the boards here, former US representative from Georgia. Which board is it again? It is Barrick Gold. Yeah, total fraud according to Peter Eyre and Gordon. Pan Global, Thornton's, and this is Nathaniel Philip Victor James Rothschild, son of 4th Baron Jacob, and he's my friend in my hometown. Yeah, incredible actors if it is actually not a Scottish borderer. Yeah, but really, really penitent now. And wants to talk all the time. And in the old days I could have given him my phone number. Not allowed to do that here. Brian Mulroney, former Conservative Prime Minister of Canada, on the board of the false gold company with young Rothschild. Yeah, there is Mulroney, Canadian Prime Minister. Yeah, this is what you are investing in now. This is why your pension is fucked. Yeah, my relatives, yeah, in Petrie's region. Yeah. J. Brett Harvey, Chairman and CEO, Consol Energy. Gustavus Cesar Miros, group of companies in Venezuela where the revolutionaries are actors too. Robert M. Franklin. I think we'll stop now. Okay, that's 72 minutes, and it is really quite sickening. And what else have I not shown you? No, I think we'll stop. Okay, and the bits with the antiquaries, yeah, are quite sinister, because that is them doing all of that stuff that we are informed historians. Then we become informed members of the Royal Society, and everything that I've looked at that has happened to the Pharmaceutical Society since it was privatised by the Royals and it became the Royal Pharmaceutical Society, you now have to buy your right to work from all of these people, and the students get their money from the Rothschild Bank to fund the student loans company that was run by Michael Moore and is run now by the people from the university groups that are the Russell Group. That is the Russell Group and religious Russells, Taze Russell of the Jehovah's, all of them Freemasons. All of the P2 banks are run by global Freemasons for massive profit streams, and none of the punters are able, in that lovely pub that I now go to, they cannot afford a Sky licence to let us watch Scotland getting thrashed. And every one of those teams for Scotland, England and Germany, the German captain in the World Cup was Schweinsteiger, which is a Rothschild family derivative, and he's now resigned from the game and was playing at Man United, and all of it is covered up because the bosses of those football clubs, and the actors that I told you about, like Brian Cox, they are all interlocked with the Warner Brothers. When they left Germany and went to America, all of the specialists, all of the best rocket scientists, nuclear physicists, went to America. They were taken there knowing that they were former Nazis, knowing that they were the people that had run the death camps, but they're the best people in the world at what they do, and America sees that as an entrepreneurial opportunity, and the war criminals are still running our world, and it is a total tragedy. We could have civilization within 6 months if Nathaniel Philip Victor James Rothschild and his big sister Hannah Mary were to give me a call and come and have a cup of tea with me. Okay, I'm going to stop there. It is absolutely tragic. My mobile number, young Nathan, if you still want to get in touch with me now, I've got loads of time, and I don't care now whether it's midweek or weekend. My mobile number is now published on some of my recent Facebook posts. Please get in touch. It can all be ended with that lovely warm smile, and you lot can become icons for how the world was turned back to prosperity and honesty by the same families that took it into the evil place that we now are, on the verge of World War III. Just so you can cover your butts. Gonna stop.